Hello everybody and welcome to my reaction video of the final and a short summary of the Wimbledon tournament this year. The final just ended 10 minutes ago and we have the winner in Novak Djokovic, who struggled and beat Roger in a 5-set epic battle. And this match, in my opinion, the better player didn't win, but Novak, as usual, he's a big match player. He was more clutch on the big points, especially the 3 tiebreaks that he won. And he converted his chances and took them and showed why, and once again, why he's the best player and the best match player of them all. Because let's face it, this is chapter number 3 in Federer's career, how you have 40-15 serving for the match and who have two match points and then loses. This is chapter 3 because this has happened for the third time. And I can without a doubt say that this loss is the most difficult loss in Federer's career, the worst loss in his career. This loss will really hurt his legacy because it's not the first time. Because when Roger had these 2 match points in his serve, I was nervous. I knew that somehow he will choke because he always choke against Novak. I don't know what's the problem. How can it be so mentally tough? He can't be mentally tough on the right moment. And once again, believe me, even though we had these 2 match points, I was not surprised that he couldn't convert them. And finally, when Novak broke back, I knew that this match would tip over in Novak's favor. Because Novak played good, solid, as he's used to. But he didn't do monster match like he does in the Grand Slam finals. He wasn't the better player. He won because Federer made more mistakes. And to be a great champ, you have to win the crucial points. And that's what Novak did. Because if you look at how many games they played, Roger won 36 games in the match and Novak won 32. Roger had 40 more winners than Novak and he won 15 more points than Novak. And beside that, he didn't win the match. On the unforced level, Federer was around 60-62 unforced error, and Novak was maybe 7 or 8 unforced error less than Federer. And that shows because the first set, both of them were toe-to-toe to the tie break. Federer had a break point, I think, if I can remember. And then in the tie break, he got the early break, Novak. Federer came back. He was 5-2 up or 5-3, I think. And then Novak won 4 or 5 straight points and won the first set. In the second set, Novak dipped. He does that sometimes. He can be away for 10-15 minutes and he made very, very many unforced errors. And that in that set, Federer broke him 3 times, and that he was like waiting for the first set, Novak. And there he was once again the more clutch player. I think Roger even had a set point in Novak's serve, but Novak served a good serve into Roger's body and won the point, and then eventually the tie break again. And in the fourth set, Roger was focused. I thought that after this first set loss, I thought that Novak was gonna win this in 3-1 in sets. But Novak did a horrible set again. Let Federer came back into the match, and in the end of the fourth set, he broke Federer for the first time in the match after 3 hours. So that means in the first 4 sets, Roger did what he had to do to survive this match, because From number one, he had to hold his serve. He had to protect his serve at any cost, because Novak is the best returner in the world today. And Federer served so well and with such a variety, with angles, that Novak couldn't get his teeth into Roger's serve until the fourth set, when he broke back from 5-2 to 5-3 and then served home to 5-4, and then Federer held serve and won the fourth set. And then he broke Federer one more time in the fifth set. No, he broke him two times, if you count the second time when Roger was serving for the match. So all in all, Federer choked again, and this is a bitter loss, because he has some pretty bitter losses in his career. This is probably, without any argument, the worst loss in his career. For the third time against Novak in a Wimbledon final, and he hasn't won against Novak since that Wimbledon win in the semi-final of 2012. So this loss will affect Roger's legacy, in my opinion, because now he could have 21 Grand Slams, and Novak will save that temporary stay at 15 and Rafa at 18. So if both of them surpasses Roger, it's his own fault. He can only blame himself, and he's gonna think about this loss through his whole life, because these are champions. For them, every Grand Slam is important, and that's why they still play and compete. They don't give a... Of course, they want to win every tournament they enter, but a loss in a Masters final or in a ATP 500 isn't that bad as this one. So probably this was Federer's last chance, because in the first four set, Roger was the better player. He was the better player. He took 6 games in every set, at least, and he even didn't win this match, because Novak sometimes outplayed him from the baseline, and Roger made some crucial mistakes, especially in the fifth set. Then you saw that Roger was a little bit exhausted. He wasn't hitting his forehand clean. He did some crucial unforced errors with his backhand. And the more important things, if Roger Federer have returned a little bit better today, because that is Achilles' heel. That's the department in his game that is the worst, that he has to improve most. But he's in the end of his career, so it won't be better. And here I am still complaining about the same mistakes that he does from match to match. But anyway, his backhand was not as good as in the Nadal match, but that was pretty obvious, because Novak's clean, flat ground strokes hurts Roger backhand side more than Nadal when he plays. Because yes, you have Nadal's top spin, but Roger's movement against Rafa in the last match was much better, and clearly he was a little bit more tired. But Roger didn't look that super tired. Only in the 5 or 6 last games, he was toe to toe, and Novak is a mentally beast. It's not the first time. I bet when he was down 2 match points, he probably knew that he could convert this and get him back into the match. So I'm very disappointed, very disappointed. I'm not only disappointed, I'm not shocked either, because deep down I knew that this scenario could happen. That's the problem with Roger Federer. He did the same against Del Potro in Jan Wells final. Same scenario. He has done that twice before in US Open against Novak. all of those matches he should have won. And then we have the epic final at Wimbledon 2008, a final that he played better than Rafa in that match also in the end. He should have won that match also, but he didn't. So when we summarize Federer's career, I doubt, but you never know. He can resurrect again. He can surprise anybody again. He still has the level. He played good. He played better than Novak in the final. He was better than Rafa in the semifinal. He earned those. He could have earned those both victories, but he didn't. And it could also be the first time that he had the chance to beat them back to back, but he didn't do that either. So Roger did exactly what he had to do, but he wasn't the better man in the more important and crucial points. That was the problem. That was the problem for him, and that's why he didn't win, and that's why Novak won. And Novak are easy the favorite in the US Open also. So if he wins US Open, his numbers are 17. And then he has at least 3 more years in this level, at least, if he can stay injury-free. Because if you look at Novak's game today, when he was under critical situations, when he faced break points, Federer converted many of his break points today, but in the tie breaks, Novak served amazing. That's when he stepped forward and put those good serves in, and that is one of the things that he has developed most in his game, because since his elbow injury, he has changed his style in his serve rhythm, and that serve rhythm has been to the better for him. So Novak is arguably the best player in the world. That's why I had him as the number 1 prediction and Federer as number 2. And both of those fell in. But I wish that Federer had proved me wrong. He was very close. So Novak will have a super chance to surpass both Nadal and Rafael and Roger in the future. And also the same for Rafa. He's now 2 behind Federer. He know that with this loss, he can catch up Federer for real. Because Federer won't win US Open. He would probably not win Australian Open even if he has a good chance of winning there. And we shouldn't even considering French Open. That's Rafa or maybe Novak or perhaps team's chances to win. But Rafa is, in my opinion, 85% favorite in winning the next 3 Roland Garros titles if he's still injury-free. So Roger has, I think, in his career, because I know that he's trying to reach for the Olympic gold medal that he doesn't have in his trophy cabinet. So next year's Australian Open and Wimbledon are his 2 last chances to win a Grand Slam. And when he blew this off, I'm just saying it right now, he is gonna stay at 20 Grand Slam. Of course, he can prove me wrong. He can still play this amazing, maybe in Australian Open or Wimbledon next year, and he will still have a chance to win. But this will affect his self-confidence more hugely than the other losses in his career, because this is, without a shadow of doubt, his worst loss in his career. I can tell you that. And Roger can also tell you. Just listen, probably he will say that in his press conference later. But all in all, congratulations, Novak. I'm not saying you didn't deserve this title, because you have been the most complete and solid player this year. It's your 2nd Grand Slam and your 2nd victory this year. Rafa has 2 Grand Slam finals, 1 loss where Novak Djokovic schooled him from the baseline in Australian, and then his much expected victory at the French Open. And Roger reached his first semi-final since Australian Open 2018 as a huge underdog. All in all, Roger did a superb tournament, don't get me wrong, but it's moments like this that you're gonna remember. Alright, enough about Roger's performance. I'm too angry to speak more about it. All in all, he should be happy anyway. He got some more to think about now, but I don't know what he can change more in his game. It won't be getting better than this, especially his returns. So anyway, all in all, Wimbledon 2019, the right player won, in my opinion. He was the best the whole tournament, as expected. If you look at the draw, if you look at my preview, you knew that Novak will lift the trophy. And we have the dark horses that I had. One of them came to quarterfinals and lost to Rafael Nadal, and that is Sam Querrey. I had him as a upset alert against Thiem. I was right, but I was wrong in many of my predictions. So that's normal, because this surface at Wimbledon has been the most surprising of all the Grand Slams. Most upsets here. You can count on that. And RBA did a huge tournament. I thought that he would reach the fourth round, not the semi-final. So good for him. And Guido Pella surprised everybody and charmed us tennis fans. He played solid, good, like there was no tomorrow. He just enjoyed being on the court and did some good, solid matches. So he deserved his quarterfinal place. And Kei Nishikori reached his 5th consecutive quarterfinals at Grand Slam events. He's a quarterfinalist, but nothing more than that. He's just not good enough to compete with Roger, Rafa, and Novak at Grand Slams, basically. And he has been that all his life. He has only beat them one time, and that was Novak at 2014. So that was also much expected. And then we have there was many more matches. Novak played the quarterfinal against who? I'm choking in my head also right now, but he did a good match there. Forget about it. The underdogs, they didn't bother the three giants, because Kei took a set from Roger, and Agut RBA took one set from Novak, and Federer won against Rafa, and he lost one set on his way to final, and that was against Nick Kyrgios. So all in all, if you look at the tournament, good organization. The courts looked a little bit slower, but that was due to the heavier balls. We saw many good rallies this tournament, and Novak should be happy. He and his team, they have not put the teeth on the chase in the Grand Slam record hunt. So Novak knows now, deep inside, that he has a real good chance of reaching both Rafa and Nadal. So I think the next few Grand Slam tournaments will be won by Rafa and Roger, and Novak and Rafa. Those are the main two title candidates in the future. Unfortunately, none of the next gen players or a new upcoming star or some of the old on the tour won't be able to dethrone these guys, because they are still so good. Just watch the match today. The level. Thiem, Raonic, Cilic, Wawrinka. None of them can play at this level that Rafa and Novak play today. Sorry again. Novak and Roger. Only Rafa can play at that level. And one thing is for sure, Rafa would never have given away this match if he was in Roger's shoes. That's for sure. But anyway, big congratulations to Novak. Dobro dan, dobro. You deserve this victory, even if Federer played better than you. And that was define him. He's a champion. He's the mentally toughest champion I have ever seen. Even in Pete Sampras' prime days, you can never see him lose a match like this, like Federer does. Because that's why I always say it. The tennis in the 90s, watch these three giants, or probably the three best players we're gonna ever see, the big three as we call them. But Pete Sampras, when he showed his level, you knew that you didn't have a chance when you stepped in the court, when he was in the zone. It doesn't feel like that when you play against Roger. You know that you always have a chance against him, even if he outplays you, because Roger choked today. He basically choked. In Sampras' 7 Wimbledon wins, he was in 7 finals. He didn't lose a single final at Wimbledon. Yes, Federer is, if you look at his achievements, he's a much greater grass court player than Sampras. He has more Wimbledon titles, but Sampras hasn't lost 4 Wimbledon titles. He wasn't even close of losing a Wimbledon final, to be honest. There was only one match, I think, and that was against, I think it was against Patrick Rafter, or was it Ivan Isevic? That was the closest to defeat. So I still hold him and Roger as the best grass court players. But if I have to say the level, I think Sampras' level was much higher than Roger's. But anyway, this video was about the Wimbledon this year, and I'm gonna take a break from this, take a nice summer vacation, and I hope to be back again when the hard court season starts. And it's gonna be an amazing start of the year, of the second half of the year, and Novak is still the favorite in the hard court tournaments, in my opinion. And I hope all of the big three stays injury free, so we can see some good super level tennis. And please give us some surprises from tennis heaven. I pray, tennis heaven above us, give us a surprise. Let us see a new star, a new winner at the US Open. Maybe Federer. No, I'm just kidding. He won't win that. He hasn't done that since 2008, and he probably won't win again. All right, folks. Have a nice summer. Take care, and please subscribe. Bye.